This is TJ Legacy. This is TJ Legacy, host of the Soapboxx Podcast. The live stream will start shortly, but make sure you like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and tell all of your friends and family that the most infamous podcast on all your streaming services is about to go live.
TJ, what's goody? It's HB. Can I just big you up real quick with what you're doing with the Soapboxx? Listen, anytime somebody takes their platform to educate and inform the culture of hip-hop with politics, pop culture, doing what you're doing and being responsible with your platform, I can't do nothing but salute you, TJ. Keep doing what it do. Keep repping for the culture. Nothing but love and respect from me, baby. Peace.
Tell me what's really good. It's Peter Rosenberg, Hot 97, ESPN, WWE, GP Podcast, all that. Big shout out to my peoples over at the Soapboxx, all right? My man TJ, Legacy Cole, the whole Soapboxx crew. Incredible new podcast, all right? Politics, pop culture, hip-hop, even wrestling on occasion. It's all there. So go subscribe and make sure you tune in to the Soapboxx. TJ, what up, man? Appreciate you.
Peace to the planet. Charlemagne the God here. What's happening, TJ Legacy Cole? Salute to you, King. Salute to the Soapboxx Podcast. The Soapboxx Podcast is an independent black media podcast, and they talk hip-hop, politics, pop culture, mental health, social justice, a lot of my favorite subjects. Check them out, man. Tune in, subscribe to them. You never know. I'm out here looking at all the different podcasts that are moving and shaking out here, because I got the Black Effect Podcast Network, so I'm going to be checking y'all out, TJ. All right? Keep working.
Yes, what's going on, family? It's the infamous. Oh, look at me doing my radio. Woo! What's up? It's DJ on the Soapboxx. I'm rusty. It's been a minute. I'm here. Lady from the North, what's good? Jesse, how you doing? How you feeling?
What's poppin'? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy and all that. And you're not rusty. What are you talking about?
I got cross switched. That was me on the radio doing my radio intro, what I should have been doing my podcast intro, and then I got cross-eyed a little bit. Yo, everybody who watches this on our Facebook page, our like page, I wasn't able to share it in some of the groups. I will do so directly after the show. We're just going to do a brief little check-in. As y'all see, Mr. Homeless Millionaire Alan York is not on here, and Giovanni is a little under the weather. So who knows? This might be the last episode of the podcast because it's just me and Jesse, and this is it's a rare treat. There's no mediator, so it's just us with the gloves up. But how you doing? How you feeling? You're looking lovely today with the braids and you look vacation ready. You going somewhere?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sick of hearing that. Everybody's like, yo, you got I see you with the vacation braids.
Do they really? Man, I like the original. But that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I guess. But they're actually coming off, and I'm gonna do something different with my hair. So stay tuned, because lately I've been feeling like just switching it up a little bit, trying to just do different things. So I'm not gonna tell you what I'm doing next. You're just gonna have to wait and see on the next episode.
But didn't you just get your hair done?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I keep switching it up.
Wow, she got money, ladies and
Cut
gentlemen.
it out. No.
Y'all make sure y'all get on Jesse's Christmas list. Soapboxx.
Yes, please.
Soapboxx Nation, because she got money. She's switching
Cut
it
it
up.
out.
I'm actually getting my hair done tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that.
Oh, he got money.
Yeah, hey, I'm trying to do him a little something. But yo, Soapboxx Podcast, Soapboxx Nation. Make sure y'all follow us, Soapboxx Podcast. That's Soapboxx Podcast with 2X. Jesse, where you want to start? We can start wherever, because this is just we doing a brief check-in. So where you want to start?
We're gonna let you start, TJ, because you're the boss man. Let's go.
Bet. All right. So I'm gonna start with I'm gonna go ahead with a little announcement, a little news. So for those for those who have supported and watched the Soapboxx Podcast, I'm letting you know today that on Monday I will actually be, I wouldn't say featured, but I guess I will be a guest, or they reached out to me to be on TMZ Live. I will be on Monday's show. Not sure what I'm talking about yet, but I will be on Monday's show. So shout out to everybody who supported the Soapboxx Podcast.
Yes.
Shout out to the co-hosts, because I don't get these opportunities without y'all supporting and showing up on Thursdays and showing up when you're sick, showing up when your kid's in the background, and Just
Right.
showing up and being there and being supportive. So a win for one is a win for all. So when I say TJ is going to be on TMZ Live, what I really mean and what y'all should really start getting used to is that the Soapbox is going to be on TMZ Live on Monday, because that's where you see me, you see the Soapbox, and vice versa. So yeah, I'm really excited about that
Yes, you
opportunity. Not
should
sure what I'm going to
be.
talk about yet, but we'll see.
That is exciting, TJ. I will personally like to say, like I told you before, I am so proud of you. I am so happy. You see my cheeks, they all the way up here. They give me like a natural Botox, because I'm so happy. Like, I'm so proud of you. You have been working so hard and you deserve this. And I love you. I love the Soapbox. And make sure you let Shawty know if you need a sugar baby. I'm right here.
Okay, I'll let Harvey and the cast know that you are open for sugar baby or sugar daddy dates.
Or a
Gotcha.
job. Or a job.
Or how about that? How about
Or a job.
Isn't that so 2022? Like, look, I'll be your sugar baby, but or you could just give me a job. That's cool. That's cool too.
Yeah, that's it. Like, either or, I'll be good with it.
Yeah. But yo, even though we have some good news, there was some sad news this week that we would be remiss if we did not talk about. Takeoff of the Migos was murdered this week. He was shot and killed in a Houston bowling alley because of some sort of confrontation. We really don't know the whole story as to what happened, but it's really sad that he was 28 years old and his life was taken for something that was senseless. We're losing a lot of young rappers to senseless violence out here in these streets. So, RP to Takeoff and Quavo. I believe I read that his assistant was also shot during investigation as well. So, what are your thoughts, Jesse, on Takeoff, the murder of Takeoff, and the impact that it's had on the culture?
Honestly, when I heard the news myself, I was like, because like I was literally on my way to bring my kids to school. We were running late, and I never listened to the radio. I always automatically put in like my cable to my phone, and for whatever reason I didn't do that day, and I'm listening to the radio station and they're talking about it, and I'm like, what? Like, I was literally in disbelief. I was in disbelief because I'm like, no freaking way.
Yeah.
And then, like, I open up the internet and I see it on all the blogs, and personally I was heartbroken, and I didn't even think that I would be heartbroken over, like, this type of news. Mm-hmm. But I was, and I don't know if it's because like watching the Migos throughout the years, they definitely had a big impact with our culture, even like being in college, and they had a lot of bangers that really like resonated with a lot of college students, like their music was it. Okay. So just like hearing about it, and then to hear that it was Takeoff, somebody who's just like so unproblematic, who's always like so under the radar. Yeah. For me, I was like, damn, like this is actually really sad. And then I started to think about his fans. I started to think about Quavo. If you look on his Instagram, like almost all his posts are of him and Takeoff, and I'm like, damn, like he must really be going through it. Offset, who was like, they had their little thing going on between them, which I also heard that at the time of his passing, like they were good, they weren't beefing, which is great. Right, but I can only imagine still, like, he grew up with him, like how he was feeling. And I don't know, like I feel like I feel so devastated. Like till this day, I'm still, I'm saying till this day, like it's happened a long time ago. Like it's only been like what, 2 days, but like I really feel sad, like that this happened. And again, like we don't know what exactly happened, what exactly transpired. There's so many different takes as to what happened. Some people speculated that Quavo was in a dice game and he was upset that he was losing. Apparently it was only $7,000 and he's a millionaire. For a millionaire, that's nothing. But apparently that's what he was losing, and an argument broke out. Another report was that him and Takeoff was being a mediator, and something happened between that and shots. There's so much being reported at this time that like I don't want to speak on it because I don't know, because I wasn't there. So until the police investigation is out, until Quavo speaks out, until people who are actually there speak out, like I don't want to say too much. At the end of the day, this is a tragedy, and it's so sad. It's so sad that we lost Takeoff, and I didn't know that I was gonna feel like this sad, honestly, but I do. I legitimately do.
Nah, it's a natural reaction because it's like damn, like another, not just another rapper. Like you feel for it because it's a life, and so anybody that values life, you know, you want to make sure like it will hit you, will impact you, especially someone who you said is like problematic. It's not like he's out there talking to, you know, he's about the Migos is about having fun, chilling, vibing, stunting, you know, all that stuff, but it's not. They don't really talk too much about, you know, too much greasy stuff where you're like, oh, okay, he kind of was in that mix. But it also speaks to a larger systemic problem that within not just, I wouldn't say hip hop culture, because that's not it, but like the fact that we don't value that you could just shoot someone in the autopsy came out today saying that he was shot in the head and in the chest. You could just over a dice game at a bowling alley or whatever the confrontation was, you could just shoot someone in the head. It just speaks to how Black men, we really don't have a safe space anywhere in this world. Like we're like, as much as people say, oh, toxic masculinity, like we're constantly, either we're targeted by the system, either we're by the system or people would deem, you know, outsiders or whatever. But then we also got to worry about whether or not we're going to get blasted in our own communities, man, by our own people, Nipsey Hussle, like all these different people that are, you know, and it speaks to, do you get to a point in success? And I thought about this, right? Do we get to a point when you become successful where you can't go back? Sometimes do you have to love from afar? Like, why are you in the midst? Like, you want to be a part of your people. You want to be grassroots. But sometimes all your people are not for you. Not just that they are haters, but you can't be the one who's the have surrounded by have-nots. Because people are looking at you thirsty and they're going to look at you like you a lick. And if they already don't value themselves, they damn sure not going to value your life. And I see like Nipsey was killed over some fuck shit. Then you have, what's the dude who was killed, who was going to the store getting some cookies or something like that. What was that rapper? I forget I forget that rapper's name. He was just killed. One that was killed in, I believe it was Memphis. PNB Rock was killed. All these people that, being senselessly killed for what? Like, so this is why people, like, we had a rapper Designer who came on and was like, hey, you know, I'm retiring from the rap game. Like, y'all killed Takeoff. Like, we always got all the smoke for our own people, but George Zimmerman walking around here free as a motherfucker. And we got, not saying that anything needs to happen bad, wink, wink, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, we got to start valuing ourselves more. And it also speaks to, you know, that circle of people that we always talk about on this podcast. Like, I'd be devastated if anything was to happen to you, Alan, you know, Giovanni. Like, you want to make sure you give your people your flowers. That's why I always say, love you to y'all. That's why I always tell you how much I appreciate y'all, whether it's the things y'all are doing on camera, off camera, whatever. And it's just like somebody in the crew has got to have the wherewithal to pull, whether it's Quavo or Takeoff, and be like, yo, fuck all this, whatever they arguing about, just drop. Even if it's like, yo, they want 7, I'll drop 10, and it'll be like, all right, we out. If that's what y'all want, bet. Like, we out of here.
And it's like, be mad, but why y'all gotta shoot each other? Like, why you even gotta bring a gun out? Like, is it really that serious? Is it really that serious that you gotta bring a gun out? Like, okay, like, you know, even fighting, right? Like, that's one thing. Like, throwing fists, that's one thing. But you really gotta bring a gun out?
Yeah. Yo, shout out to nah, for real. And so RIP to Takeoff and to Quavo, our condolences. Shout out to Maya saying hello and showing some love. It must be braid season because Maya on social media acting up too with her braids. So it might be braid light skin braid season is in full effect out here in these streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's winter time, you know?
Yeah. The next topic that I wanted to, you know, we wanted to kind of touch on, it was just recently announced that Kyrie Irving has been suspended from the NBA, a minimum of 5 games, because of what people have deemed. He shared a link towards a documentary that was on Amazon that was alleged to have anti-Semitic tropes towards the Jewish community. So Kyrie, I saw his latest press conference or his statements where he said he can't be anti-Semitic if he knows where he comes from. So that says a lot from where, and I think he's referencing how blacks are the original Hebrews or Jews. Forgive me if I am paraphrasing his point on hysterical content. But yeah, I think that's what he's alluding to. I don't want to speculate too much. I guess that's what I'm doing. But yeah, he's just saying that he can't be anti-Semitic. He's not really apologizing, but he's saying, look, I didn't mean to hurt anybody. I didn't really promote. I didn't know. That's a new rule. Like, I didn't know everything that you put on your social media, you now are officially endorsing. Like, we keep moving the social media goalposts. So that means if I share a rapper's album or rap lyrics, does that mean I'm co-signing everything that rapper is saying? My issue is, how are we going after Kyrie for posting a link from Amazon about a documentary that has anti-Semitic tropes?
And how are we not mad at Amazon?
How are we not mad at Amazon and we're not going after the Jeff Bezos? The same Jeff Bezos who right now is rumored to be trying to partner with Jay-Z to buy the Washington Commanders, which is an NFL franchise. My issue with the anti-Semitic conversation is there's some underlying anti-blackness that's going on when it comes to who they're targeting as far as the rules of what is anti-Semitic and what's not. So if we're going to talk about anti-Semitism and how it affects all communities, right, then I think in the Jewish community, it's only fair to have a full conversation about some of the anti-blackness that's going on that is perpetuated by other communities outside of the black community. So if we're going to talk about what is respectable and what's not, I think we should have a conversation in its totality when it comes to hate and not just single out and target, because when you start seeing Kyrie be suspended, Kanye says things that are anti-Semitic, he gets his Twitter taken away, he gets debanked. Like, I think the punishments of these for these comments are having a reversed effect for the cause, because what you're doing is turning people like Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, you're turning them into martyrs. So now more people are looking into the documentary that you didn't want people to see. More people are listening and streaming Kanye's music, and more people are looking into what Kanye's got to say next. So it's like, it's having the adverse effect where you're giving people bigger platforms now to share their views or for people to say, I agree with them. So I think that the reason that's happening is because we're not having a full conversation. And it's just a bad look where people are saying, well, this certain community has all this power, and that community is saying that's a racist, that's an anti-Semitic trope. But then we're seeing power exhibited that we've never really seen from any other community when it comes to how you are criticizing or critiquing or having these comments said about a particular community. So it's almost negatively reinforcing the racist trope that you are trying to discount in a way. So I don't know where this is all going, but it's not having the effect, that the positive effect on the conversation as the Jewish community may think. So, but you make a good point. Why are we going after Jeff Bezos, right? Jesse?
Right.
Yeah, I think there needs to be, a larger conversation when it comes to whatever, what people are saying, because what you don't want, and here's where the Me Too movement failed, right? Yeah, I know I'm on slippery slope because I went from anti-Semitism to the Me Too movement, but I'm that guy. I can talk about things on this platform like that.
You should.
But the Me Too movement, where they failed was that everybody started getting pointed, where it turned into like the Scarlet Letter, where now it's like, if I disagree with you or disagree with what you're saying, I can just label you anti-Semitic, and then you'll just go away, and you'll just get canceled, right? Well, then when that happened, then it watered down the effect of someone who's actually being accused of sexual assault or sexual harassment. So it diluted the conversation. So now when you're out here and you're saying, well, that's anti-Semitic and this person anti-Semitic, and you're not going after, it's like you're targeting one specific demographic of people as far as high profile. It just seems like Black males are becoming the targets for this person's anti-Semitic.
Right.
But their associates or the people associated with the actual documentary that is anti-Semitic. So I don't know, y'all. Let's have a full blown on conversation. But yeah, go ahead, Justin.
I just want to say, like, just taking that like anti-Semitic out and like everything else out. Something that I've realized like throughout the years of like social media is that like if an individual disagrees with what the majority has to say, like people are ready to cancel them. It's like you can't have an opinion that everybody else disagrees with, because then you're automatically canceled. And I don't agree with that, because the way I see it is that, and like I said, I'm taking the anti-Semitism, like all that, I'm taking that out. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't agree with that, because I feel like it's like you have to conform to everybody's ideologies and what everybody else thinks to be accepted. And if you don't, then you're automatically canceled. And it's like you can't have your own opinion if it disagrees with the majority, because if you do, then you're canceled, you're wrong, you're this, you're that. And I don't agree with that. I feel like everybody should be able, like if you're not being disrespectful to somebody's culture, if you're not being disrespectful to disrespectful, you know when you're being disrespectful. But if you're not being disrespectful, you're just simply stating that this is how I feel, and I feel like this because of A, B, and C, and I'm supporting the way I feel with A, B, and C facts. But you're gonna cancel them because it disagrees with how majority of the people feel. I don't think that's fair, because I honestly don't feel like everybody needs to agree on everything. I don't. That's just my opinion. I don't, because at the end of the day, we all have our different mindsets. We all have our different ways of how we think about things and why we think about it the way we do. And if everybody thought the same exact way, come on.
I agree. And I think my issue is that, well, we're not seeing this sort of back for the same people that are talking about anti-Semitism, this is wrong. It's kind of like the Asian hate crime bill, right? When everything was going on to the Asian community, then everybody was like, oh, we need policies. This is a hate crime. Asians are being attacked. People are speaking out. Right. However, when the Black community goes through our shit, we got to march, we got to rally, we got people like, oh, we need all the facts. None of these things happen. Kanye West wasn't debanked because he said white lives matter or slavery was a choice. He didn't lose these endorsements. So now it's looking like it's one-sided. It looks like in the Black community, anything goes. You can say whatever to us. Certain other communities can promote,
and we're okay with it
in our community, and those things are acceptable, right? So we gotta understand there's the racial undertones to what's going on, and understand that talking greasy about the Black community or having or injecting poison into our community is par for the course and a part of the system of white supremacy. So if that's a part of the system of white supremacy, and punishing Black people are a part for the course of the system of white supremacy, we got to look at the other side of the coin and be like, hey, what's really going on here? Is this really about anti-Semitism, or is it about systematically tearing people, African Americans, down as these athletes and entertainers? You're using them as a proxy. Because if you're down to say, let's cancel hate, let's not promote things that are going to denigrate other people's communities, I'm all for it. But let's do it across the board and not turn the blind eye when it comes to the Black community.
I agree with you 100%. Exactly. Because when Kanye West was saying things of the Black community, like you said, the whole White Lives Matter, and there were other comments that he made prior to that. But because I feel like a lot of the times, like us as a Black community, we're so forgiving, right? Like when it comes to like our people, like we're so forgiving. Like you can say what you want to say about us and we're going to forgive you. And other cultures are going to be like, okay, well, you know, if they forgive it, then fuck it. Like, who cares? Like,
but everybody else is like, oh, hell no.
Exactly. But it's like another culture is going to be like, nah, you're not about to say this about us. And if you are, you're going to get canceled.
But you also got to understand is that this all comes down to power, right?
Right. 100%.
This is why we say when they talk about, oh, black people are racist. Black people can't be racist because you have racism is an institution.
Black people can be racist.
Yes, you have to have power to do these things. And so when the Black community is things are offensive to the Black community, how much influence do we really have, right? To really put somebody in a bind and hold them accountable as other communities may have. And I think and so we also have to ask ourselves, why are we in those powerless positions when it comes to that type of stuff? Maybe it's a conversation of a larger systemic issue when it comes to our economic base and where we stand and why everybody feels like our community is at the lower end of the totem pole and anything goes. We don't have to hold anybody accountable if you do stuff to them. But if you talk about us the way you talk about them, then we got a problem.
Exactly. And I feel like it has to do with healing. I feel like we're getting there, but we're not 100% there. Again, it's about like we accept a lot of things from our own culture that we shouldn't. And if we were like from the beginning saying like, okay, you're Black, but you're saying this about your own people, like this is not okay. Like if we were telling them from the get, like this is not okay, then maybe this stuff wouldn't be happening. I mean, I look at my own culture, okay? And like a lot of things have changed throughout the years. But looking at how it was when I was younger, a lot of people in my community, they would like be like, you know, like, oh, you're dating a Black person, or like Black people this or Black people that. Yes, that was their mentality, especially because as Cape Verdeans, we were colonized by the Portuguese. So a lot of them adopted this Portuguese mentality, oh, we're Portuguese this, Portuguese that, which is like, you know, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, if you make it okay for people to talk about you in a certain way, or if you make it okay for your own community to talk about you in a certain way, and you're so forgiven that they're doing that, then other people are going to think that it's okay for them to do it too. One thing that my mom always taught me was this: the way that you allow people to treat you and those around you, you got to be okay that other people are going to treat you and those around you the same way, because you're accepting that. That's what you accept. So you can't expect like people to be like, oh, you know, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Even though like you don't believe that they should, because you accept that and you show other people that you accept that. So like us forgiving Kanye, and look, I don't have like me, I told you guys in the last episode that we had, I do feel like it's a mental health illness. Me personally, if it's not, then like I said, us accepting this behavior is not okay, because it makes it for other cultures or other people to be like, okay, well, they're accepting it, so you can do it. Like, all right, if they don't care, then why should I care?
It is starting to turn the tide, because so recently there was a story that I read that Kanye West actually wanted to sell White Lives Matter t-shirts. But
I saw that too.
He's not able to because 2 Black radio hosts in Arizona actually own the trademark to White Lives Matter. So nobody can profit off of it. And so they blocked it. So they did it a little while ago because they wanted to, they felt like it would get into the wrong hands, and they never wanted people to profit off of it. So so shout out to them. Yeah. And that leads me to the moral of the story. Listen, if you want to hold people accountable, it's chess, not checkers. And you kind of alluded to it before. People can only do what you allow them to do, right? So many times in the Black community, we have this revolving door where anything goes and everybody can come and go as they please. Where other communities, they got brick walls where you gotta check in. They want to know who you are, where you come from, your background, your lineage, all these different things, what your identity is. We don't do that. So maybe it's time that we don't have to build a wall around our community, but maybe we got to build at least a fence or at least one of those little check-in kiosks where we can allow certain things, and we got to develop a code where we can't just allow this culture to persist where everything goes. And that also includes shooting and killing each other. Like that also includes, and I'm not going to be the black on black crime guy, but we have to start valuing life, and especially life in one another or people that look like us. So that's my moral of the story. What's your moral of the story, love?
I agree with you 100%. It's starting to value yourselves, starting to value us African Americans as a community, so people can start to value us. Like, yes, it's okay to forgive, especially if you believe in God, you believe in Jesus. The Bible tells you to forgive others as he has forgiven you. However, you also need to know your value. Okay, know your value, because if you don't, then other people aren't going to know. If you know that someone is valued at $1 million, but you treat them that they're $10, then everybody's gonna treat them like they're $10. Nobody's gonna treat them as $1 million because that is what you're portraying. So value yourselves and value your community the same exact way that you want other people to value you.
Indeed. And I'm gonna save this podcast as proof that Alan is a bad influence on Jesse. Did y'all see how great of a conversation we had? Poignant. We ain't talked about God. Jesse done said she agreed with me like 3 times on this podcast. I'm saving this. I'm gonna replay this at night and just go to sleep to the sweet sounds of Jesse saying, right? And how pleasant she was. You know what, Jesse? I love this conversation. She's glowing. I love this conversation. But we definitely missed our co-host. But yeah,
definitely.
This was a brief episode, but definitely poignant, and we'll see how things go. Check me out on TMZ Live.
I sure will.
Don't know what I'm talking about. Don't know how long I have, but I'm slated to be on there. They say it's live, so you know me. Anything can happen. Either we'll go live, and who knows? I could be trending, but all the wrong reasons. So for Alan York, for Coach Just Giovanni, for Jess A, TJ Legacy, we are the Soapboxx Podcast. We out. Peace.
Tell them what we talking about.